The most anticipated fight in boxing today, Canelo Alvarez vs Terence Crawford, is finally expected to happen this year, with September in Las Vegas being the rumored date. As these 2 pound 4 pound legends prepare to clash, fighters, experts, and journalists alike are sharing their predictions. Naturally, Floyd Mayweather couldn't stay silent. Having once faced Canelo in the ring and trained with Crawford, Mayweather believes he has a clear vision of how this bout will unfold, and he's not alone in that opinion. So, what exactly did Floyd say? And how do other fighters see this matchup playing out? Let's dive in. It's no secret that Floyd Mayweather was the one who handed Canelo Alvarez his first professional loss. When they faced off, Canelo was just 23 years old but already a battle-tested fighter with a flawless record of 42 wins and no losses. At the time, many viewed him as the future of boxing, an unstoppable force destined for greatness. But on fight night, Mayweather gave Canelo a harsh lesson in the sweet science, showing how experience, precision, and ring IQ could neutralize even the most dangerous young talent.
Canelo was 23 with 43 fights and 30 knockouts, and the world said he was inexperienced. I was 36 with 46.
Up until that fateful night, Canelo Alvarez had steamrolled every opponent in his path. But against Floyd Mayweather, he was thoroughly outclassed in every aspect of the game. The undefeated legend delivered a defensive masterclass, making Canelo miss time and time again while landing sharp, clean counters with surgical precision. It was a performance that exposed the divide between being great and being truly elite. That night, Floyd Mayweather proved he wasn't just one of the best, he was a generational talent, playing chess while others were still learning checkers. When the final bell rang, there was no debate. Mayweather had schooled Canelo to a clear unanimous decision victory. Fast forward to today, and Mayweather's attention has shifted to another fighter, one he believes could be his true heir in the sport, Terence, Bud Crawford. Over the years, Floyd has praised many fighters, but there's something different about the way he speaks about Crawford. He's even gone so far as to say that, if given the chance, he could personally train Bud and take his skills to an entirely new level. That's a bold statement, especially coming from one of the greatest to ever step in the ring.
You know, if he's ever free and he want to go to any company, if he's a free agent, I would love to work with him if he's free. Because I know that what I can do to take him to that next level.
But Floyd doesn't stop there. He takes his admiration for Crawford a step further by revealing why he holds him in such high regard. According to Mayweather, the reason he rates Bud so highly is because Crawford reminds him of a younger version of himself, Pretty Boy Floyd, before he evolved into the global icon known as Money Mayweather.
He was kicked out
That's
of
high praise,
schools.
especially coming from someone who dominated the sport in his prime with unmatched skill, speed, and ring IQ.
I like about him. I mean, he reminds me of a young Floyd Mayweather. You know, he can fight it.
Now here's where things really start to get interesting. If Terence Crawford truly is a younger version of Mayweather, what does that mean for Canelo Alvarez? After all, it was Floyd who handed Canelo his first professional loss. Could history be poised to repeat itself if Canelo and Crawford ever step into the ring together? Mayweather certainly seems to think so. After spending time with Crawford and closely studying his skill set, Floyd made a bold and shocking statement about how a potential Canelo vs Crawford fight would unfold. But before diving into that, it's worth hearing from another Mayweather with deep boxing roots, Floyd's uncle, Jeff Mayweather. A former IBO super featherweight champion, Jeff didn't mince words when asked to compare the two stars. In his eyes, Terence Crawford is simply the superior boxer when it comes to pure skill.
If anybody can do it, I think it would be Terence Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I think he's a better fighter.
So why would Canelo take such a high-risk fight? According to Jeff Mayweather, the answer is simple: money. He believes Canelo isn't necessarily chasing the toughest challenge, he's chasing the biggest payday. And with Terence Crawford's stock at an all-time high following his dominant victory over Errol Spence Jr., Canelo might see this as the perfect moment to cash in. The hype is real, the buzz is building, and the potential for a blockbuster event has never been greater.
So Canelo's been reluctant to make this fight. He's kept saying over and over, he doesn't need this fight, it doesn't make any sense, it's, waste of his time, whatever. What do you think finally change his mind on that? Do you think just sometimes money talks and they threw so much money at him he just couldn't resist anymore, or he felt this was the right time?
I mean, he's looking to cash out, and I think Crawford's looking to cash out too. So I think that it's a great fight for both.
The size difference between Canelo and Crawford is an obvious concern in this matchup, but Jeff Mayweather doesn't think it will be a major issue for Crawford. He points out that Bud has already moved up through multiple weight classes, consistently proving that he can handle bigger opponents. According to Jeff, it's Crawford's adaptability, paired with his elite skill set, that makes this a truly competitive fight, regardless of any physical disparities.
Well, I mean, Crawford has fought some really, really good fighters. A lot of people just know about his fight with Earl Spence. That's the only fight that people ever talk about. But he showed that he has skills at all these different weight classes.
Former IBF and WBC champion Sean Porter has also weighed in, this time with a critical observation about Canelo Alvarez's stamina. According to Porter, while the Mexican superstar often comes out strong in the early rounds, he tends to fade as the fight progresses. And that, he believes, is exactly where Terence Crawford can seize the moment. In Porter's view, Crawford's endurance and ability to adjust mid-fight could allow him to take control in the championship rounds and turn the tide in his favor.
Rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down. So I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of...
Boxing journalist Stephen Smith echoes a similar sentiment. He believes that if Crawford can avoid Canelo's power shots, keep him at range, and wait for his gas tank to deplete, the fight could swing in his favor. In Smith's eyes, the key for Crawford is patience and discipline, weathering the early storm and then taking over as Canelo begins to slow down in the later rounds.
Can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away.
However, Smith also acknowledged one thing that makes Canelo so dangerous, his relentless pressure. No matter what happens, the Mexican warrior will keep coming forward. And if Crawford can't hurt him or earn his respect early, then Bud better be prepared for a grueling 12-round war, one that could ultimately come down to the judges' scorecards.
Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo...
When asked about the same potential matchup, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. offered a different perspective. In his view, the key to Crawford defeating Canelo lies in controlling the center of the ring and dictating the pace. According to Jones, that's the only way to outmaneuver a powerhouse like Canelo, by not letting him get comfortable or fight at his preferred rhythm.
With Crawford, what are Crawford's keys to victory when you are fighting someone like Canelo, who, albeit maybe not in height, but in stature, is a much bigger man than him?
Control the center of the ring. If Crawford is allowed to control the center.
As mentioned earlier, Floyd Mayweather sees a younger version of himself in Terence Crawford, and he's not alone in that belief. Former WBO super middleweight champion Jesse Hart also believes that Bud would defeat Canelo comfortably, citing the similarities in Crawford's style to that of Mayweather's. In Hart's view, those stylistic parallels would give Crawford the edge in this matchup.
I think Crawford can beat him. I like Crawford against him. If Floyd done it, I think...
Hart further elaborated that while Crawford isn't an exact clone of Mayweather, his style is similar enough to pose serious problems for Canelo. Floyd was the first man to hand Canelo a loss, and since Crawford shares both a comparable fighting style and a similar size to Mayweather, Hart is confident that Bud will have his hand raised at the end of the fight.
I'm not going to say he's just as good as Floyd Mayweather. I'm not saying that. But he has some of the same traits defensively as Floyd Mayweather has. And Crawford is a thinking fighter. He's not just going, you see how he made easy work away with Smith. He's a thinking fighter. I think with the proper training, whereas though he knows he can outsmart Canelo, I think he beats Canelo.
Unlike Stephen Smith, Jesse Hart doesn't believe Crawford will struggle to hurt Canelo. In fact, he's confident that Bud's precision could be the key to breaking through Canelo's legendary durability. Hart believes that if Crawford lands the perfect shot, he has the potential to shake up the boxing world.
Need to do, can he hurt Canelo? That's a good question. Anybody can be hurt if the punches land right and the timing is good.
Unified super middleweight title challenger Edgar Berlanga is another fighter who favors Terence Crawford over Canelo. In Berlanga's eyes, anything can happen in boxing, but he believes Bud is simply in another league. Berlanga even went as far as calling Crawford a living legend, stating that the only way Canelo could win this fight is by fully exploiting his size advantage.
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But
to add some drama to the mix, there was a wild rumor circulating that the Canelo versus Crawford fight wouldn't happen, and instead, Canelo would face none other than Jake Paul. However, it was soon revealed that Canelo Alvarez had no interest in such a fight, especially on Cinco de Mayo weekend. The reason? He made it clear that he only fights real fighters, not engaging in novelty matches. Canelo had a serious decision to make: either fight Jake Paul for the biggest cash grab in sports or agree to a multi-fight deal with Riyadh season under the banner of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority. And, of course, in classic Jake Paul fashion, the problem child didn't take this rejection lightly. He fired back with a statement claiming that Canelo was ducking him while declaring himself the new face of boxing. But let's be honest, nobody really cared about that fight anyway. True boxing fans are far more interested in seeing the best face-off to determine who the true king of the jungle is. That's why Canelo would much rather take on Terence Crawford, a legitimate challenge that could cement his legacy. Floyd Mayweather also weighed in on this, offering his opinion that Canelo is past his prime and no longer the fighter he once was.
Canelo is a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fighter. And everyone is now saying that he's not the same fighter. He's not looking the same.
If Mayweather is right, then it would make sense for Canelo to pursue gimmick fights, like a bout against Jake Paul. But instead, the Mexican superstar remains committed to facing elite competition, proving to the world that he's still at the top of his game. The only question that remains is, can he still rise to the occasion against a fighter as dangerous and skilled as Terence Crawford? We'll have to wait until September to find out. And what about you, fight fans? Do you think Terence Crawford can replicate what Floyd Mayweather did to Canelo Alvarez? How do you see this fight playing out? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and